So, bienvenidos, Satnam. Welcome, brothers and sisters, on this amazing, beautiful Sunday to the New Rich New Energy podcast. I believe it's number 23 in the series, and it's a little early edition here, but it's beautiful because I have an amazing guest that I came across and connected with, and she has a powerful truth and a powerful message and so much wisdom and understanding when it comes to this um, thing that we call eating, as we call food, fruit, life. The one and only here, I have Aline Habib, the Raw Queen herself. Welcome, sister. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for welcoming me here and giving me the opportunity and space to share my journey and share what's been helping me so much in my incredible path of healing. It's amazing what you're doing. And I love that you're giving the opportunity to us to come and be part of the solution and share the solution with others, share hope. And that's what I'm here to do, is to share hope and real solutions to help.
And that's why I reached out, because doing a little research, on your background is like, okay, she's onto something. You know what I mean? She's she's being a light, and everybody knows about this podcast. This is what it's all about: truth expansion, truth, and nothing but truth. So you know how we do it on this show. We're gonna get right into it. But for the brothers and sisters who are watching, Miss Aline, if you can just please share, like, where did you come from? How did this all start with you? How did you become raw? How did you get this understanding? Like, give us a little piece of your background, and we'll get right into the questions. So.
Sounds good. Yes. So I have been raw for 2 years now. So I'll kind of backtrack a little bit. So I've been for 2 years now solely on living foods. So meaning fruits, vegetables, fresh juices, smoothies, no more grains, no more gluten, no more salt, no more sugar, no more cooked foods. I came from, before this, I was about 6 years plant-based, 6 to 7 years. So I would say my whole plant-based journey has been about 8 to 9 years, where I decided to cut out all the animal products, all the dairy, and then it slowly progressed into a more whole food plant-based diet. Because let's admit it, I started off as a junk food vegan for many years, eating French
We all
fries and,
did. We all did.
Beyond Meat burgers. Not to say that they're not helpful in the transition. However, I wasn't feeling my optimal self until I really transitioned to the living foods and to the juices, more of a liquid, lighter diet. And the reason why I even started on this path was I was having some incredible pains, a lot of IBS, a lot of issues with my digestion, from chronic constipation to diarrhea to just not feeling good in my body, right? And I was depressed, chronically depressed, dealing with a lot of addictions, alcohol, drugs, smoking, and I just wasn't. I felt like I wasn't in my right mind. I felt like just something's off. Like, what's going on with me? I know there's another way. I know I could feel better. And that's really what led me on this path, doing a little bit of research, seeing how, just cutting out certain foods might help me with my digestion. That's how it started about 9 years ago. And then it progressed, right? And it was almost like as I progressed, it was almost like my addictions were getting stronger as my healing was getting more deep. Like I would start juice cleansing, and then I kind of fell into some harder drugs. And then I was like, okay, let me detox again. And then again, there was these opposing forces that were very, very strong in my life, like one trying to drag me down and one trying to raise me up. And I really had to make a decision at some point to be like, okay, I'm gonna choose the meditation, I'm gonna choose the yoga. I went into rehab centers to get myself better off the drugs. I discovered plant medicine as well. There's so much to unpack, but plant medicine have really helped me a lot on my journey. And and then it became more about, my health. It's how it started, but then it became more about the animals, more about the planet and different reasons around, the plant-based life. And I started my support community as well to offer support, because I realized how alone I felt, how difficult it was to be doing this on my own. Got myself a mentor, and here I am today, and I'm thriving. I love it. For sure, I went through a detox period where, I wasn't feeling that great, because it's kind of hard to transition, your body from a certain chemistry to a whole other chemistry and a whole other way of digesting and living. But I'm telling you, it is so worth it. I am so grateful for the transition. And 2 years later, I could say I started feeling really great after 6 months to 1 year, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, this is freaking amazing. So I know
Feeling
it's
it,
going to just
yeah.
get better and better.
No, that's beautiful. And it's something that you shared there, the whole detoxing of the system. And I think sometimes that's where people miss it a little bit because they come into this space, they want to change their health, they want to change the way they live, the way they think, the way they feel. And they just automatically change their diet and they don't have to understand that they have to detox the system first. You have to go through that period and process. So if you want to kind of elaborate on that, just to explain how our body, we've been beating up our body for so many years. Like people think it's a miracle. Okay, you start eating fruits and vegetables and boom, like that's not how it works. You have to, it's like preparation, like when you cook. So if you can go into that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you for bringing that up. I definitely think it's something that needs to be spoken about more because it's easy to watch like Fully Raw Christina on YouTube and be like, okay, I want that. Like
Yeah,
she's been going through it for many, many years. And, we have to paint a real picture of what it is to detoxify and cleanse. I mean, yeah, like you said, everything from the alcohol we're drinking to the foods, the processed foods, anything. I know this might be a little extreme, but anything that is not pure, raw, organic, undenatured. I'll even go as to say, like, even the GMO fruit we're eating, is kind of like damaging. I'm not saying like the raw vegan diet is even perfect because we're not even eating the like most close to nature fruit, which is
very
the
true.
ultimate goal, is affecting our system and our minds. It's kind of like taking us away from our nature, which I believe is to eat a mainly frugivore diet with a little bit of leafy greens and some nuts and seeds mostly. But anything that's apart from that is causing mucus buildup, is causing parasites, is causing mucoid plaque accumulation. Like most people are carrying around, including vegans, are carrying around like a lot of extra waste, like 15, 25, 100 pounds. Like when you see those guts, that's poop. That's a lot of waste that needs to come out. So when that does start to come out, it comes with detox symptoms. We might get a headache, we might feel dizzy. I mean, some people even experience vertigo or crying. Emotional detox is another aspect because we're numbing with the food. And then when we stop numbing, when we go on a juice cleanse, for example, there might be tears that come up. There might be emotions that need to be released, and people often get scared. They're like, oh my god, what is this? I'm breaking out, I'm crying all the time, I'm tired. That's to be celebrated, and that's why I love our community so much, and I love being there for people too, to support them through that, because that could be really scary and that could stop them from detoxing. But we just need, sometimes we need a cheerleader to be like, hey, that's normal, it's okay. Like, I mean, stuff be coming out of everywhere, like in women, like, we got, it's kind of gnarly. Some smells like, oh my god, this isn't working, I'm stinky. Like that
It's
needs
so
to come
true.
out.
Yeah. That's your body responding. No,
Yeah,
absolutely. And another thing too, I know you're fast, right? Intermediate fasting. Are you big on fasting or?
I sure am. I
Okay.
sure
If
am.
you want to kind of throw in your 2 cents about fasting, because I believe that's another major important component of this transition of
Yeah.
optimizing your body. So
Oh
what
my
do you think
goodness,
about fasting?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, fasting is like the one of the common threads, in all spiritual beliefs, religions all throughout the world. We talk about fasting. We talk about the connection between, there's something very physiological that happens, but also very metaphysical and spiritual that happens when we kind of give ourselves to God, when we give ourselves to prana, to the breatharian lifestyle, even if it is intermittent fasting every day, just like, even if it is, so there's different levels of fasting. There
Right.
could be, somebody could just be like, okay, well, I'm not going to eat, in the rising, for example, up until 11 o'clock. That is fasting, just not having that automatic juice or drink or food, that consciousness to say, like, I'm going to continue cleansing from the night before. So, if anybody's never fasted, I recommend starting with intermittent fasting and then breaking the fast slower with a juice, for example, or coconut water. Like, you're still kind of fasting without having that solid, dense food. But yeah, I mean, I've done intermittent fasting for a long time, and there's juice fasting. Some people call it fasting, some people call it cleansing, which I definitely recommend for anybody who's looking to even transition to the living foods, it's a great way to transition because it like cleans up the palate, cleanses out the gut, which also the certain microbiome, which is like craving all the junk food, like it's not your fault that you're craving the French fries and the chips and the chocolate. It's like your gut microbiome is not you, but like, people is like preset to wanting that. There's like
it's a default.
yeah, there's parasites in there. There's a certain chemistry. So when you cleanse with a juice feast more than a fast, it's a feast, then you give your body a chance to really reset. So a lot of people can transition more easier to even a plant-based, even if you don't want to go to living foods, but a more plant-based, like your taste buds get more accustomed to the living foods. And it becomes more natural. It becomes less of a struggle than, I got to eat fruits and vegetables, but I really want this. So it just becomes more natural. I've done 113 days on a juice cleanse last
Nice.
2 years ago. Yeah. And I started 9 years ago with like 7 days, 10 days.
Right.
Like I went incrementally up. But when I found out about mucoid plaque and that old rubbery waste, I was like, why did I never hear about this? Like, why aren't the doctors talking about this? Why isn't this like on the mainstream, on the TV? Like, hello, we found the cure to cancer. We found like, this is what's making us sick. This is why we're depressed. That's why all of the problems, like it's in the shit. Like it's all there. We're holding on to our shit. So I right away, I was like 40-day juice cleanse. I, was following Shane Sterling at the time and John Rose and Professor Spira, and they were talking about the mucoid plaque. And I said, all right, this is what I need to do. So I set off for a 40 days. And I just kept releasing and releasing for like 90 days from the 2-week mark, nonstop for 90 days. And I wasn't even that big. Like I don't know, I had like 10 pounds more than now. I was like, where is this coming from? Like, where is this coming from?
It's in there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is like a centimeter thick. That's on the inside of our lining. And that right there is what I contribute to people where you see like they start this journey and then they fall off and they're like, this isn't working. It's that mucoid plaque is that our body isn't absorbing the nutrients because there is that wall. Yeah, there's God, what's his name? Mancina. There's a product that I'm actually going to try, and it's these fruits and vegetables that have been fermented for over 300 years. So when you drink it, it's like I've been seeing testimonies, I've been seeing pictures. I'm like, oh my God. Like, so I haven't done a juice fast as far as that long of tenure. But yeah, I'm excited to clean up my system as well because I know what's in there. It doesn't matter how healthy we think we are.
Yeah.
We can always continue to cleanse ourselves. So no, that's beautiful. 117 days.
113, yes.
13.
Yes.
Wow.
But it didn't end there. Like you said, it's an ongoing process. Some people will be like, oh, you do a 40-day juice cleanse and you're done. For me, like it's like 6 months after that, I did another one. I did another 66 days. And then I went another year and now I just did another 96 days. So like people think I'm kind of crazy, but I'm determined. I know that's right. To heal. And when I get the call, like there's nobody, nothing can stop me. It's just like, okay, I'm back on the juices. I did a water fast as well last year, which was 23 days, which everybody was very worried about me because I was doing it on my own, but I was heading for 40. I know that it's possible to do 40 days on water. They do it at, True North, and they do it at Lauren Lockman Center. I would recommend doing it supervised. Anything past 10 days, I would say like go do it in a supervised environment because you do get kind of weak at times. But that's a whole other process. And I healed a lot during that water fast. At first, I didn't know why I was doing it. I was like, God, is this for real? And at the time I was in a sober house. I had relapsed on drugs about 10 months ago. I had a relapse after almost 2 years without, but anyway, that led me back to Austin where I go for healing, and I have my sober community there, and I absolutely love Austin so much. So I was in a sober house and I got the message there where like women were eating pizzas and drinking Coca-Cola in the house, and they already thought I was crazy with my fruit smoothies and like only eating fruits and veggies. They're like, you're the healthiest addict we've ever met. Like, we don't even understand you. Like, you do crack and you like only eat fruit. Like, what's your deal? Like, It's crazy. And I was like, oh no, I won't eat sugar. I won't eat this because I was already on the path, but I was still like the remnants of my addiction were still like
Yeah, they're
coming
like,
at me
this
once
ain't
in a
adding
while.
up. They're like, what is going on? That is too funny. So let me ask you, because I know there's just like myself, we've all dealt with drugs. You know, me being from my background, everybody has their story. And as far as plant medicine, because everybody knows I'm a researcher, I love digging into plant medicine, ayahuasca, they call it Hape here, but Rape,
Yeah,
the Anna Maria Muscara, which I have so many different things that I experiment. If we can kind of segue into that and get back into the raw, but
sure.
what has plant medicine done for you, and what is your understanding of plant medicine?
Yes, thank you. I love talking about plant medicine.
Yes, man.
It really lights me up, and I feel it's the healing of our nations that has been suppressed, oppressed, because it liberates us. You know, in a nutshell, it really liberates us and helps us to get more in touch with who we truly are and our mission. You know, I wouldn't be here today speaking to you, being brave and using my voice if it wasn't for ayahuasca, iboga, 5-MeO DMT. I have worked with a lot of different medicines. I've worked with mushrooms as well, with psilocybin, with combo, hape, and yeah, those are the main ones. That's it. Those are the main ones.
Those are the major ones. Those are the major ones. and and
Yeah.
and that's why I've done it too. For people know, like, I do it to experiment, to understand the experience, to understand that journey, to understand what it is that I'm looking for, because all this is just intelligence just waiting to speak to us through us. You see what I mean? So um, I've been blessed to been around some amazing individuals who have introduced me to this certain plant medicine or studied this plant medicine. And when you really take it from a place of heart space and really looking for an answer and just looking to receive, plant medicine does a lot for you. It gives you revelations, it gives you insights, it gives you answers, it gives you direction. It's just not a thing just to do, just to be cool, or you know what I mean? It's really
Yes.
it's a spiritual journey to me. So
Yes. It's not for the faint of heart. It's definitely not a walk in the park. It's not anything. Even if somebody goes into it thinking that that's what it's going to be, they're gonna get a surprise because
big
they're
time,
gonna. That's
big
probably
time.
their subconscious mind too. You know, they know like it knows what's going on. It's a deep journey within your own soul, like the truth, right? You're faced with your own truth. You're faced with your demons. You're asked to purge a lot of the times for your darkness, your baggage, and also your ancestors' baggage. There's a lot of like, ancestral, trauma and issues that are passed on. So when we do plant medicine, a lot of the times we're asked to release it. And a lot of our problems here today, like it's like not even ours that we're carrying. It's like literally like our great grandmothers and their
Hmm.
what they've went through, and they just couldn't process it. So a lot of the light workers that are being called to this path is to release it for our children, for ourselves, and to live happy, healthy lives. Like ibogaine is the first introduction that I got into plant medicine. I had done a little bit of mushrooms when I was younger, but nothing spiritual like that. And it was a treatment center in Mexico. I had no idea what I was doing. Like my dad was just like, we need to get you some help. Okay, fine. You don't want to go to a traditional rehab. I found this medicine, like go do it. So I went, and ooh, like it blew my mind what happened. And of course it's not legal in the States because it's so
Yeah,
helpful. It helps
major
people come off of
detox.
drugs,
Abs.
alcohol, but not just that, like eating disorders, PTSD, depression, any kind of mental, physical, emotional ailment or illness that's going on. It really, really helps. And it gives a window. I mean, I wasn't on opiates, but I've seen opiate people that were addicted to opiates, come out of there with barely any withdrawal symptoms, which is incredible, like 80%, you know, um, soothing or relief from the symptoms, and just an overall like desire to live a different life. There was like a mind reset, like the neurotransmitters, the pathways of the brain, like something reconnected. And it's like a child, right? I felt happy like a child, like I had new eyes. And of course, there's work to be done after. I think that's also an issue with the plant medicine is there's not enough integration work afterwards. There's like, we need to have a coach. We need to have someone to hold us kind of through those spaces because there's a lot that comes up, right? There's a lot that needs to be processed. And if it's not, I think it could actually sometimes be dangerous for the individual, you know, not dangerous in the sense that they're going to hurt themselves, but they just don't know what to do with it. They need like some kind of therapy or counseling after that to continue the
Some type of
work.
guidance.
Yeah, and to put it into practice, because we get a lot of messages, but it's like not everybody goes home and puts them into practice. Like I got a lot of messages about my diet through plant medicine. I was like, okay, like this is what I meant to be eating, but I could have chosen not to. You know, we still have free will after.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, plant medicine, I can talk about, you're gonna have to come back. We'll do a whole segment on plant medicine, but yeah,
Okay,
because that's a
sure.
whole different arena. I love speaking about it and
Yeah.
just the wonders that it does.
Mhm.
So kind of diverting back to fruit.
Yeah.
You said you started this about 2 years ago. You've been raw now, correct? For
Yes.
about 2 years. And kind of tell me how have you felt? How's your body responding? Let's get into like the inner works of how your body is now maneuvering in a light vehicle because
Yeah.
you know what I mean? How's that working out for you?
Yeah, definitely. Well, energy was always a thing for me. You know, I always, I have so much more energy now when I compare it to even 2 years ago. I used to get the crash around like 3 p.m. and just want to kind of like lay down and take a nap or drink a coffee, which I was doing too. So when I was on those stimulants, so just coming off those stimulants and being more on a fruit-based diet, I don't have that crash. I don't need as much sleep. I do sleep. I do like to sleep, but I don't need as much sleep. Like if I sleep 3 hours, I'm okay, you know, but I usually, you know, try to get 6 to 8 hours a night. But I used to be like needing, you know, 9, 10, because my body was just digesting more and
And still
processing
waking
more.
up tired. That was the thing
Yeah.
too. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I'd wake up groggy and not happy. I used to like say, I'm not a morning person. But, yeah. So much more energy. My mood has been so improved. This is somebody who was told I was going to be on antidepressants my whole life, anti-anxiety, sleeping pills, and I took a lot of pharmaceuticals in my past as well. So that's something that I've been healing through the juicing also. But yeah, so like no antidepressants, no pills at all. Like I just eat a lot of fruits and veggies, and being in that lightness helps me to have a better mood, just be more positive about life. Even my mindset, I'm more optimistic. I used to be dark, man. Like I used to have some dark thoughts. Like I wanted to kill myself. I wanted to die. Even with my daughter, like I was not happy at all, at all, at all. So to be like in this state where I love my life. I like just want to think about planting fruit trees and creating community and a healing center. Like I'm a completely different person with everything. Digestion is on point, which is the main reason why I think my mind is working better is because my gut is healed. So there's like this connection
Absolutely.
that happened from just pooping better, just like being regular. People don't realize the effect that, you know, holding on to the poop can have. And then they go to the doctor because they have symptoms of that, like that toxicity of like, oh, I have a headache, I have this, I have that. But really, we just need to clean out the bowels. So digestion is better, my skin cleared up. Like I used to have cystic acne everywhere. I like have a little couple, you know, breakouts here and there. I won't lie, I'm still detoxing. However,
Right.
it's gotten a lot better. What else? My hormones, yeah, while I was on the water fast, I something really crazy happened. I had some hormonal imbalance for a long time, and it like gave me a 2 week period. I basically bled for 2 weeks straight, and I was like, what is going on? But
Wow.
I just trusted that something had to clear, something had to, I don't know what was happening exactly, but I trusted intuitively. And but ever since going plant-based, progressively my periods have been getting really better. So women who have like really heavy pains, heavy periods, it's all that dairy, it's all the gluten that we're eating, the sugar, the salt, all of that. So my periods have definitely improved a lot. I barely even know it's there when it comes. I'm like, oh, there it is. Like, well, okay. And it only lasts like 3 days or 4 days
Right.
max. I'm like, oh, that's okay. So a lot of different things.
No, perfect, perfect. So let me ask you this: for somebody who's kind of transitioning into this whole way of eating healthy, because I don't even like to call it a diet. I'm
Mhm.
very different when it comes with my words and etymology. I think the word die is right in the word. You see what I mean? So we have to understand these things and the root causes. It's just being natural. This is how we're supposed to eat. It's like when you're just eating natural and you're just doing the right thing, all of a sudden it becomes a diet. You know what I mean? Like
True.
this is what we're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
So for individuals who are kind of transitioning, what would you recommend? Like what were some of the things that helped you in the transition to get you to where you're at now?
Sure. Yeah, I like to call it a lifestyle, there's
Yeah,
the word life in there, and it's like, just
I
more
like that word.
positive. Yeah, I'm trying as well to be more conscious of those words. It's great that you mentioned that. So definitely there's a transition. What really helped me, which I'm learning about it now more officially in the books, but what I've been practicing seems to have been exactly what the Arnold Ehret's mucusless diet healing system is all about. So he promotes not necessarily a raw vegan diet, but that whole concept of going mucusless as much as possible has brought me to this path. At some point I was able to transition. So over the years, so there's like mucus forming foods and there's foods that don't form mucus, right? Being the fruits, the vegetables, the even seeds and nuts can cause mucus. So we have to be mindful of those. So really the fruit is basically the one that like causes the least mucus. And that's, for me, that has been the ideal. But to get to that, there's a progression, I would say start with your rising meal. Start with breakfast, like look at the breakfast, start writing down to what it is that you're consuming. That's what I tell my clients is like, write down what you're eating. Like just start taking stock of what's going on. Be brutally honest with yourself,
Yeah.
put it black ink on white paper and just like look at it. Smarties, M&Ms, Coke, chips, like everything that you put into your body, put it there and look at it. Because we have to have a conversation with ourselves before anything else. We have to like be ready to look at that. And then start seeing the patterns. Is it at night that you're eating? Is it in the rising? Is it, after you come home from work? So look at those patterns and start making small changes, start replacing, let's say the rising meal you decide to take. I like the rising because it's like sets you up for the rest of the day, right? And it just kind of sets the tone, right? So instead of if you're having eggs, bacon, beans, bread, and all of that, say, hey, I'm going to have a really, really lovely, sweet, dense, nutrient rich smoothie, with like dates, bananas. You could put some like carob, or if you're still having cacao, put some cacao, chia seeds. You could even put peanut butter in there. Like, you know what I mean? Make it yummy, decadent, and that'll fill you up. Because a lot of the times when we're not eating the nutrition we need. So even when we see very overweight people, they're actually malnourished. You would think like, oh no, they're overnourished, but they're not. They're really malnourished and they're
Very
not getting
good
the
point.
proper nutrition. So just starting by getting more nourishment from your food and start thinking like, how is this affecting me? Is this nourishing me, or is this just like fluff? Is this just like an addiction kind of food? What is food? Like start asking yourself, if I'm opening a packet of something to eat, it is this food? And what am I feeding inside my gut? So just start to like increase the fruits and vegetables in your diet. If you do have meat, then start looking at, maybe I could have it with a salad. If you're not having salad, if you are having salad, maybe increasing the size of the salad and decreasing the size of the meat. And over time, you will progress into wanting those greens, wanting those fruits more and more and more. But you got to give yourself a chance. You can't say like, oh, I don't like this or I don't like that. Like give yourself a chance and do eat with what you do like. If you only like green apples, eat green apples. If you only like bananas, then, eat the bananas. So focus on what you do like and grow on that. And then you can transition to, like gluten-free breads maybe, or instead of like pastas and heavy carbs, you could transition to like a gluten-free pasta, or like, maybe rice, and then eventually like sweet potatoes. The sweet potatoes has less, like they're less mucus forming than regular potatoes.
Less
Steamed
starchy. Yeah.
vegetables. Yeah, less starchy. That's the word. Steamed vegetables with a big salad, and like lentil soup is a great transitional food too. Chickpea curries are a great transitional food. There's certain things that we can do to be less mucus forming. So yeah, those are great, great alternatives.
Oh, I love it. I appreciate it. And no, I think you hit it on the head. It's kind of taking a look at what you're doing and then just incorporating something that's going to be better for you. And you know that it's better for you. You know what I'm saying? Like you can look at a chocolate chip cookie and be like, this isn't good. You know what right? So I know it came up on the timer here, but we still have some time. I wanted to speak a little bit about this, which you introduced me to. You said you have your own little community that you have built, your own support systems. You want to kind of speak on that?
Yes, sure. Well, this is the beginning, an online version of what's happening in person, but we'll talk about that another time. But I'm just going to plant those seeds. But definitely, it's called Kings and Queens of Raw. It's on Facebook. It's an online support community, and we do, very similar to what you're doing. We welcome guests, special guest speakers who have a journey to share or are doing great works in the world, like very positive, and we empower each other, we support each other. We have a platform where, if they're cleansing, if they have these detox symptoms, they could come in and like do a live video. We have a lot of our kings and queens who share videos in the group, share posts about like, how they're feeling, what they're doing. A lot of us are overcoming addictions as well. We're not all raw vegan. That's why I didn't put the word vegan in there, because it was like more about being raw and being raw authentic and being ourselves and loving ourselves, because that's what it's all about. Like the food is a symptom, it's almost like a consequence. I don't want to say symptom, it's a consequence of our self-love, of us like remembering who we are as royalty, as like, walking kings and queens on this planet, kings and queens of the most high. Like we are here to make manifest like God's glory. And how does that start? That starts with us. That starts with like what we put in our sacred temple. Like that's it. Like that's like you're waiting for heaven on earth, but like start with heaven within. Start with your own heaven. And then you're going to start generating those manifestations in your life that look like heaven, like miracles will start to happen when you start to fast, when you start to detox. Like this ain't just physical, this is like spiritual. And I would not be on this path if it was only physical. Like my connection to God has deepened, my connection to Jesus, my connection to my angels, my spirit guides, plant medicine masters. Like I am in touch. And yeah, this community is so beautiful. And I really welcome all of you to check it out. Send me a link. Kings and Queens, I'll send you a link. Send me a message and I'll send you the link.
Perfect.
kingsandqueensofraw.com. And I also offer like private coaching to those who want to work one-on-one with me. But the community is so beautiful. So even if someone can't, afford the private coaching, like definitely come in. It's donation based, so it's free to come in. If you'd like to share, like it's all up to you. I appreciate it. But and what else? Yeah, we do a meditation as well. We do a monthly meditation and a monthly soul food hour where we all gather and share.
Perfect. And I think you said something so beautiful there, because it's the Trinity. You have to incorporate. It's just not physical. And just like you said, your soul of man is your temple. That's what it's speaking about in the Bible. And just like you pointed out, we're kings and queens. We're twofold actually. We're kings and queens, and we're priests and priestess. So once you understand your power and your glory that you're standing in, then you're supposed to go be that priest and priestess and talk the message. You see what I mean? So
yeah,
it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, we have about 5 minutes here, so I know we've talked on a lot. There's so much more I want to speak on. Hopefully you can come back on, but is there anything that's on your heart, something you've been thinking about, you've been working on, that you want to share with, or
yeah,
any last words, any
this has been
inspiration?
so much fun. You're such a great interviewer. I mean, we recently just met and we felt it, instant, let's work together kind of connection. And I'm really, really impressed with what you're doing, because this is creating heaven on earth. And I really appreciate everything that you're doing, and offering a platform to us. And that's really what helped me the most. I'll say this, like in recovery, if anybody is dealing with drugs, alcohol, addiction, like there's my community, but there's also, AA, CA, NA, where you could hear like speakers share how they're saving their life. And that's really what did it for me, where I was like, there's something here to be said, because I was looking forward to going and hearing their stories. And I figured, well, somebody needs to hear mine too, maybe somewhere. And to like step out of my own way was really fundamental in me sharing, because I was like, who wants to hear me? Who wants to hear my story? Like,
Right.
there's so many addicts in this world. Like, why me? But I had to like really stop that because why not me, and why not him, and why not her? Like, we don't know who's going to light that spark in somebody. We're planting seeds, we're awakening in ourselves, and we're also helping others to awaken. And so yeah, I mean, reach out to those communities as well. They're amazing support, God-based communities also, where you can connect. Connection is the opposite of addiction, right? We need to connect. We need to feel connected to others, even if it is online. Like, we do feel connected. There's energetic exchange in community. And eventually, yeah, Belize, I've been living in Belize on and off for about 15 years. My daughter is from there. We have a beautiful circle of friends there. My family has a resort already operating in the jungle called Mariposa Jungle Lodge. So everybody's welcome to go. We have like beautiful cabanas deep in the jungle. Not many mosquitoes, I promise you. We're close to like, waterfalls, rivers, Mayan temples, super sacred land. And there's the beach not too far away, a couple hour drive. Belize is like so rich in culture. And I have been in the works of going back there and building a community, not on Mariposa, however, possibly, but that's kind of my dad's thing. But I will be doing it somewhere else, planting our own fruit trees, creating healing retreats and a healing center where people could come and, like do a juice cleanse. Because let's face it, it's hard to do that at home when we got kids and we got work, like just come and disconnect. But also like long-term stays, because I feel a lot of the time the issue is we go to get better, we go get off of drugs, and we think that like after 3 weeks or a month, we're done. But it's like, why do people relapse so much? Because they haven't really integrated it. They haven't taken the time to like it takes 3 months, I feel, to really take on like a new habit. So to have like that opportunity to come for 3 months, 6 months, a year, possibly live there, if we all get along and we like each other's vibes, like let's build you a home here, like build, so there's possibilities to create that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. No, I love it. I love the direction you're going in. I appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story, your truth, your light, because that's what you're doing. You're shining. We have a few minutes here, so hopefully in the future we can continue to work. I believe we will. We can come on and I really want to talk about plant medicine because it's been big for me in my journey as well. But before we get out of here on a Sunday, I want to be able that you can enjoy it with your beautiful daughter. But do you have any social medias? If you want to go ahead and shout those out, I'll leave them in the link as well. But where can they find you if they want to ask you questions, comments, even about the retreat, or just, if they want to get counsel, where can they find you?
Sure. So yeah, so the website I listed, kingsandqueensofraw.com. My personal Facebook is Aline Habib, AlineHabib. And on Instagram, it's queenaline.raw. And on YouTube, it's Queen Aline. So you can check me out. I got protocols too for the juice cleanse on YouTube if you're looking to do a juice cleanse, to how to refeed. I do interviews as well, so I share my interviews. My vegan dad, I just interviewed him the other day.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. That was cool. That was cool. Has he always been like that, or?
No. He a year after I went vegan, he jumped on board. Right. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, perfect. Well, I appreciate it. This has been amazing. No other way I would have liked to spend my Sunday this morning. So I want to thank you for sharing space and coming on here and sharing your story. I appreciate you so much, sister. And
thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. This is what we do. This is the New Rich New Energy podcast. So for all your brothers and sisters out here throughout the world, we want to thank you for taking the time and sharing space with us. And we'll see you on the next broadcast, you guys.
I'll see you next time. I'll come back.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.